Never could I have imagined walking alone in the basement of Capitol Hill would lead to something so dark and sinister. It would change me forever. Picture this: an eager intern, fresh on Capitol Hill, ready to make a difference. Little did he know the adventure that was about to unfold. I was that intern, a small-town boy with big dreams, thrilled to be in the heart of American politics. I still remember the rush of excitement, the humbling grandeur of the Capitol building, the swirl of power and ambition that filled the air. But let me tell you, that building is a maze, a labyrinth of corridors and offices, each one more imposing than the last. One day, curiosity got the better of me, and I found myself exploring, wandering aimlessly through the endless corridors. Then I stumbled upon it, a narrow stairway leading downwards into the unknown. The basement, a mysterious, dimly lit maze, was about to reveal its secrets. Against my better judgment, I descended, stepping down into the heart of the Capitol, and into the heart of a conspiracy I could never have imagined. A distant murmur of voices, like whispers lost in the wind, drew me closer. It was like I was being pulled by an unseen force, a moth to the flame, lured towards the clandestine symphony of hushed tones and subdued laughter. I found myself at the threshold of a distant doorway, an entrance to a world I was never meant to witness. Behind that door was a secret gathering, an assembly of power and influence that seemed almost surreal. It was like an unscripted scene from a political thriller. There they were, top representatives, their faces familiar from countless news broadcasts, their names etched in the annals of our nation's governance. But they were not alone. Among them were figures from the world of business, the kind of people whose decisions shape economies, the CEOs, the tycoons, the kingmakers. Their conversation was a chilling revelation, a dance of words and numbers that made my blood run cold. They were discussing insider trading, as casually as one might discuss the weather. They were planning, strategizing, deciding who among the members of Congress would receive the next big payouts from fixed stock trades. They were playing with the future, treating it like a game of chess. And it seemed like they had done this before. Their confidence, their ease, it was all too unsettling. There was no mistaking it, no room for doubt. This was corruption at its most blatant, its most audacious. It was a secret symphony of greed and deceit, conducted by the unseen power brokers of our society. I was an accidental audience to a performance that was never meant to be seen, a witness to a crime that was being orchestrated in the shadows. The room was filled with the scent of corruption, a stench that would follow me for the rest of my life. The room fell silent, all eyes on me. I had been discovered. The chill of 100 icy stares pierced me. It was as though I had suddenly become the most interesting thing in a room full of powerful people. In the fraction of a second, I was no longer a simple intern. I was an intruder, a threat to their covert dealings. In my panic, I had stumbled backward, knocking over an old, worn-out chair. The sharp crash echoed ominously through the room, instantly shattering the silence. The sound was like a starting pistol, triggering an adrenaline-fueled chase that I would never forget. I bolted from the room, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The dimly lit basement became a labyrinth, a maze of shadow and fear. I could hear the guards behind me, their heavy boots pounding on the cold, hard floor. They were close, too close. Their shouts filled the air, bouncing off the stone walls and following me into the darkness. I was running blind, my mind a blur of terror and desperation. I could feel the sweat trickling down my back, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I didn't know where I was going, didn't know if I could escape, but I had to try. I darted around corners, stumbled through corridors, my heart in my throat. I could hear them getting closer, their voices growing louder, but I couldn't stop, couldn't give up. I was a rabbit caught in the headlights, running for my life. Finally, I saw it, a glimmer of hope. A small, dimly lit exit sign hanging above a narrow door. I pushed through the door, stumbled out into the open air. The cold night hit me like a shockwave, but I didn't stop. I ran as fast as I could, as far as I could, until the imposing silhouette of Capitol Hill was nothing more than a distant memory. As the city lights of DC faded in my rearview mirror, I knew my life had changed forever. I was no longer just an intern. I was a fugitive, a man on the run from the very people who were supposed to protect and serve. And all because I had stumbled upon a secret that was never meant to be uncovered. You never really appreciate freedom until it's snatched away. The life of a fugitive is nothing like the glamorous portrayals in movies. It's hard, it's lonely, Every face in the crowd is a potential informant. Every footstep behind you could be the one that catches up. Paranoia becomes your constant companion as you find yourself perpetually glancing over your shoulder, your heart pounding at the slightest sound. You go to bed at night not knowing if you'll have to abandon everything at a moment's notice. You learn to live with the bare minimum, always ready to slip away, to blend into the crowd, to become invisible. And then there are the practicalities, the challenges that you never think about until you're forced to face them. When my bank accounts were frozen, I was left penniless. The money I had earned, the savings I had set aside, all gone in an instant. I was reduced to surviving on scraps, relying on the kindness of strangers, and learning the harsh lessons of a life in poverty. When my passport was revoked, I was left stateless. I was a man without a country, a wanderer adrift in a world that didn't want me. I found myself in an undisclosed country, a place where nobody knew my name, where I could disappear into the background. I can't tell you the unspeakable acts I did to get to another country with no passport, but even in the shadows, I felt the eyes on me, the unnamed figures who were tracking me, following my every move. They were there, always lurking at the edges of my vision, a constant reminder of the price on my head. They had taken everything from me. My career, my reputation, my identity. They had even taken my name. I was no longer the ambitious intern who had walked the halls of Capitol Hill. I was a fugitive, a non-person, a ghost. Erased from society, I now spend my days in the shadows, a ghost of my former self. Powerless, but not voiceless. I tell you my story, not for pity, but for hope. I am an intern, a nobody to them. Yet I stumbled upon a secret so significant it could shake the foundations of our society. A secret that runs so deep, it has cost me everything. My freedom, my identity, even my place in the world. I am now a ghost, a whisper on the wind, a nameless face in a crowd. I was a young hopeful in the bustling hive of Capitol Hill, the place where dreams are made and power is brokered. But I saw the underbelly, the dark and twisted roots that feed this tree of democracy. I saw representatives, the ones we elected, in hushed conversation with business tycoons. I heard words like insider trading and fixed stock trades. I saw the exchange of power, the barter of trust. I saw corruption, and it had familiar faces. And now I am on the run. But remember, I am not a hero. I am just a witness, a bystander who was in the wrong place at the right time. A reluctant messenger bringing you a story that needs to be told, a story that needs to be heard, a story that needs to be shared. I am no longer part of society. I am a refugee in a land I do not know, living on scraps and charity. But I am not asking for your pity. I'm asking for your voice. I'm asking you to share my story, to tell everyone you know about the corruption that lurks in the shadows of our democracy. I am asking you to question, to challenge, to fight. I'm asking you to be the change you wish to see in the world. Because you see, they cannot silence us all. They cannot chase us all. They cannot erase us all. We are many. They are few. We are the voice. They are the echo. We are the power. They are the illusion. So I urge you, share my story. Let it be a beacon, a call to arms. Let it be a warning, a wake-up call. Let it be a spark, a catalyst for change. Let it be a plea, a cry for justice. Because you see, I am not the only one. There are others like me, others who have seen, who have heard, who have been silenced. We are the forgotten ones, the ones who know too much. We are the ones who have paid the price for their corruption. I may have been silenced, but you can still roar. Share my story, fight the corruption. Be the change you wish to see in the world.